Well, basically, when Bob was fishing in Ireland, he had the fish queuing up. He was feeder fishing and he needed to catch fish quickly. And basically, a feeder contains maggots. It drops through the water pressure pushing on the feeder will push some maggots out, then the feeder will land on the bottom. If you get a bite quickly with a standard feeder, you will strike, hit into the fish, and the feeder will be pulled along the bottom, and that's when most of the maggots will escape. So if you can imagine you're casting 20 yards out, your feeder hits the bottom 20 yards out, you get a bite, you strike, your feeder comes towards you, and you might have 3 or 4 feet or even yards of maggots dripping out the feeder as it's being pulled through the water. Now that can disperse the shoal, that can produce line bites because your line will be cutting over and through that line of maggots coming towards you. So what Bob wanted was to develop a technique where all the maggots came out in one spot, regardless of whether or not he got a bite instantly. So that's where the speed feeder came about. And now I'm going to show you exactly how to make it and how to use it. These are the items that Bob uses. He fishes with maggots, red or bronze for stillwater fishing. You will need a feeder, obviously block end, and this is the style that he uses, made by Nisa, forward loaded so it's accurate in the wind. You need a sharp pair of scissors and any hemp based typical roach ground bait. In this occasion, yesterday, he was using Super Lake, one of his own mixes from Vandenheim. The first stage is to take the feeder and to cut a window within the feeder using as sharp a pair of scissors as you possibly can. So I'm cutting through 3 holes there and straight across from one side of holes to the next, like so, and the same underneath, being very careful not to cut the power gun that runs in the centre of the feeder, and that will create a window within the feeder. There we go, it's as simple as that. So I've got quite a substantial window there. Right, the next step is, if you can imagine the feeder is attached to a paternoster or running rig, what makes this setup so quick to use and so quick to fish is basically it's a single-handed operation. First of all, you get the feeder and just dunk it straight into the maggots, like so, push them in with your thumb, and then to retain the maggots within the feeder for casting, dunk it into the ground bait, like so, and then smear the top of the ground bait with your thumb. And that's it. That is basically Bob's speed feeder. When it's in use, cast it out, the maggots will stay within the feeder as it flies. When it hits the bottom, the ground bait will explode, adding attraction to the swim. The fish will be drawn in via the ground bait, and almost instantly the maggots will jump straight out the feeder, providing a neat pile of food that's there all the time, not in a line towards your rod tip. And basically that's Bob's new speed feeder. That's what he uses to catch fish, roach, skimmers as quickly as he possibly can on the quiver tip.